Watch Your Mouth podcast, a podcast all about phrase etymology and why we say what we say. I'm Milo.
And I'm Dave.
He's my dad.
And she is my daughter.
That's how that works.
Yes, it is.
You don't need to be sad about it.
Maybe I do.
Oh no, I have an Eeyore for a dad, guys.
Not that
Does that mean
matters.
I need to be Tigger for this episode? I don't think I have Tigger energy in me.
There's a wonderful thing about Tiggers.
Oh, he can do both. Good.
Yeah.
I think I can just lay back on this
You're
one.
gonna be, I'll do it all!
My dad will just talk to himself for an entire episode and take it away.
And that's the new podcast. It's Dave's Thoughts About Life. And I talk for about an hour straight, and everyone has just shut off the podcast.
Oh no.
That sounded so heartful and genuine. Wow.
Maybe I'm Eeyore now.
It's contagious. Maybe when you're listening, you'll be Eeyore too. Not that it matters.
Well, this is kind of a rough energy to start this podcast on, because this is kind of like an upbeat, fun episode,
But
I
we
think.
gotta ramp up. You can't start there.
So we've got to, do a nice ramp from Eeyore to Tigger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so Tigger is kind of our spirit animal for this episode.
Gotcha.
I think.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And we're talking about some animals, so that
Perfect.
makes sense.
Well, what do we got today?
Most specifically, we're talking about animals with stuff. What a delightful genre of idiom this is. Animals with stuff.
Animals with stuff?
Yeah, animals have stuff. Bees have knees.
What?
Cats have pajamas.
No, they don't.
Or meows. Or whiskers, depending on who you ask.
Okay.
Foxes have sockses.
I've seen that.
You've seen foxes with sockses?
I saw the book.
Yeah, there's a Dr. Seuss one right there.
Dr. Seuss.
There's also, in different countries, in Ireland, snakes have hips.
No.
And spiders have ankles.
Where? What?
And in Australia, the ants have pants.
I would like to see little pants on ants. That would be fun.
I hate asking you to do accents, but can you do the ants' pants in an Australian?
My Australian accent's really bad. I can't. I'm not gonna subject
Nope.
You do it.
The ants' pants. Nope, that was nothing.
No, that was not a thing.
I'm sorry, my friend Heath. I'm legit gonna get my friend Heath, who lives in Australia, say that.
What about my friend Jane?
Friend Jane, yes, who listens to this very podcast.
We love Jane. She called out when we mentioned her name on one of the other episodes.
Did she was that?
Like, they mentioned me. Which I think is adorable.
We love you, Jane. Thank
Jane's
you for
great.
listening. You're great. But so are animals with stuff. If Jane had, what would she have? Things.
Jane is not plain, but she might have been on a train.
Oh, I see. Jane has a train?
Yeah.
Plane train?
In her pocket. She carries it in her pocket.
Oh, that's kind of cute. Is she a giant or is it a tiny train?
It's a combination.
Oh, so it's kind of like mid-sized?
Yeah.
It evens out to the center?
She's 20 feet tall.
Oh, no, she belongs in neither world.
I know. She's very torn.
Yeah.
She's lost. She's not Lilliputian. You know what that phrase is from?
Yeah, Gulliver's Travels.
Thank you. Who wrote it? There goes my lit major. Jonathan Swift.
I knew that. So, animals with stuff.
Yes. Tell me about that.
I don't know
Milo.
about the snakes with hips or the ants with pants, because I don't so much know about other countries' etymology, but I know in America that the bee's knees and the cat's pajamas were the hottest slang back in 1920s. The other 20s, as they are soon to be called, I'm sure, now that we are in the 2020s.
The good 20s, maybe.
I don't know if I'd call them good.
Well, better than now.
Yeah,
maybe.
That's probably true. Unless, we're only 6 months in.
No,
so
true.
Hopefully things turn around a little bit.
Yeah, I would like to say things can only go up, but that sounds like a bad thing to do.
Yeah.
It's like I'm tempting fate. Anyway.
So so I would say that bee's knees and cat's pajamas, they both mean something cool, like the coolest thing. I don't think they sound cool today.
No, they sound, unless you're being retro.
Yes, but is being retro cool?
I don't know. You're cooler than I am. I'm
I?
in my 50s. I don't know cool at all.
I was going to ask you, what do you think the coolest word for something cool is right
Yeet.
now. Yeet. Nope, yeet does not mean cool.
Let me
We
say
don't
it
talk
again.
about modern slang a lot, so I wanted to kind of get a feel for this.
How about so yeet? No.
Nope. Yeet means to throw something.
Oh, but throwing something can be cool.
I mean, true. Normally, the process of yeeting something can be describing something cool,
Oh,
but
how about hundo p for 100%? It's a hundo p. No.
No.
She has a very pained look on her face.
no.
I should have taken a picture of that because she was in literal pain. That hurt her soul. I don't know. What's the?
I don't know either. I'm out of touch now. I'm 24.
Are you out of time?
Yeah.
You're out of touch. You're out of time.
I'm an old person now. I'm 24 years old.
Yeah, that's pretty. But you are not. It's definitely when you lose being part of that young generation when you're in high school and you kind of know what kids are saying because you're a kid,
Right.
and then kids start saying stuff and you're like, is that what the kids are saying?
In one of my linguistics classes, when I was like 20, we had to choose 2 pieces of modern slang and write like an etymological history of them.
Oh, did you choose yeet?
I did not. I think this was actually pre-yeet, possibly.
Okay.
But so we did fam and FOMO, and even at the time I was like,
FOMO.
I'd never use these.
No,
like
it's not your groove or mine.
I'm not cool enough.
No, and you really, I think, to use some of that. Otherwise, it just seems like you're using it ironically.
Yeah, or trying too hard, maybe a little bit.
When I was a kid, decent was the big word that everyone said. Like
Really?
in the 80s in Michigan, decent was all the kids said. Everything was decent in our members only jackets.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we needed those snaps on the shoulders. Those came in handy.
What are the snaps on the shoulders for?
They were decent, man.
Oh,
They were cool.
decorative.
Cool is
Kind of
never
like
really...
mini epaulets.
Yes. We had epilepsy. No?
Dude, that didn't really make
No.
sense as a
No,
joke because
no.
it didn't have the other half of the joke.
I know. But you're laughing. So,
Only out of pain.
yes, she laughs from the pain I cause her.
Yep.
Oh,
What a wonderful,
yeah. Oh.
wonderful father-daughter relationship.
Welcome to our dysfunctional relationship where we work through it with a podcast.
So,
Yes.
bee's knees
Bee's
is
knees,
the one
we're
I'm going to
back.
focus on specifically. There are a lot of different words for or idioms of animals with stuff, but they almost across the board mean cool, at least in modern understanding.
Okay.
So I kind of just picked my favorite and the one with kind of the most robust history, which would be the bee's knees.
Now, when you say animals with stuff, is that a term you came up with? Or
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Oh, great. Hundo P.
Hundo P.
Oh, no.
That was me.
Oh, gosh. That's such a
Now I'm
terrible
rhyming.
phrase. Yeah, it is.
But hey,
you're
bee's
Dr.
knees.
Seuss.
We're rhyming right out the gate.
We are.
So, bee's knees was originally an 18th century fanciful phrase, which is fun to say, which is
Alliteration.
to refer to something that doesn't exist. So, in like the same vein as like the prank thing of, oh, go get me a left-handed hammer or
Oh,
something
sure.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Mhm.
Similar to that, where it's like something that clearly doesn't exist. There's a comic back in the 18th century about sewing buttons on ice cream and eating bee's knees.
What?
It's supposed to be just like silly and fanciful and it doesn't
Okay.
mean anything.
Oh,
So very much in the age of like Alice in Wonderland, just kind of like
yeah.
nonce.
I never really, I don't like Alice in Wonderland. I don't like the movies. I don't like any of the renditions of it. It wasn't for me.
So many weird kids of my age when I was in high school. And I was also a weird kid.
Sure.
I was a drama kid.
Yeah.
Many of my friends and acquaintances were very into Alice in Wonderland.
Really?
Yes. And it was kind of like a subset of the kind of like scene kid thing, if you're familiar with that as a concept.
Nope. Don't have any idea what you're talking about.
It's like goth light.
Oh,
So like Panic at the Disco,
great.
My Chemical Romance, those kind of kids.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they were all very into Alice in Wonderland. That wasn't my scene, necessarily.
What did you think they liked about Alice in Wonderland? What was it that attracted
Just
these?
that it was kind of trippy and like it was like, oh, it's a classic, so it's still like popular and easy to like come by, and in high school was when the Tim Burton versions were coming out.
Sure, yeah.
When I was in high school.
Mad Hatter.
And so I had a friend who would cosplay the Mad Hatter, Johnny Depp's Mad Hatter.
Really? Who did that?
Zach.
Oh, sure, of course. Zach's been mentioned before.
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
Hi, Zach. You don't listen, but
yeah.
you. This is the second time now, I think.
Yeah, in our history of the podcast. The long history of 2 episodes now.
Yeah, but I think it just has popularity in that it is kind of like counterculture light.
But we're going to rebel thoughtfully.
Yeah, so it's not like as crazy as like, it's not as like inherently like drugged out LSD as like some of like the Beatles stuff.
Okay.
But like it's still kind of like definitely a altered thinking, fanciful magic.
Yeah.
We're going to talk in an elevated tone and be fancy.
And expand the consciousness a little bit.
Yes, we're all mad here is a common thing that was on people's t-shirts.
Oh, that's so strange.
We are wildly off course.
Yeah.
So getting back on track, so it was kind of this idea of something fanciful. And then we also saw it referenced in the day as referring to something weak. So a bee's knee was something weak.
Oh.
There is a letter written by a Miss Townley Ward.
Oh, you have to say
1797.
that. You have to say that with the English accent.
Miss Townley Ward.
Townley Ward.
This was in America, I believe, but yes.
Oh, I still want to say
early America, 1797.
Did they have accents then?
They probably still sounded British.
I think so.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Did you know that if you take a Southern accent and speed it up, it sounds just like a British accent?
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Oh, can you do a Southern accent?
I cannot.
You can't do Southern accent?
Just a little bit, but
so.
it's really not much.
No, it's not bad.
For one of my murder mystery characters, I do have to do a Southern accent.
I don't think it's bad. Your
Well,
sister's
thanks.
got a good one.
She does. And she actually hasn't played that role yet. But
Really? What?
Yeah.
What's she doing that accent for all the time?
I don't know.
She's like, my oh my, I took way too much food.
Anyway, we're moving on.
Yeah.
So Miss Townley Ward wrote in a letter to her sister-in-law, a letter in 1797, saying, "It cannot be as big as a bee's knee." So it's this kind of thing of being something small and weak and just kind of referencing that. So it's kind of interesting to me that this already we see has 3 different meanings.
Yeah.
As something that's just kind of like fanciful and weird, as something that is small and weak, and then something that is super cool. So I'm going to go a little bit into one of my favorite things about this phrase, and that is reduplication, because I don't think we've talked about it on the podcast yet.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so reduplication is just the weird thing in many languages, but English as well, where people like to just repeat things. So this can come in a couple different ways. Things like ping pong, kitty cat, flim flam, fiddle faddle, all that stuff, where it's just like sounds repeated. If it's just vowels being changed from things to thing, like bric-a-brac,
Yes.
that's called ablout or ablout.
How do you
If it's
spell
just
that?
ABLAUT.
Okay.
So it's amazing that we have a word specifically for that, for changing a vowel in a word to make a reduplicated phrase. But that's what etymology is all about, guys.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming up with increasingly specific words to describe.
And some of you
themselves.
nerds out there, and you just love this stuff, which is probably why you listen to this podcast.
Hello, it's me.
Hey!
We also have rhyming reduplication.
Okay. And again, there's something about the alliteration, the using of that first letter.
Okay, I'll do this first. So rhyming reduplication is stuff like bee's knees.
Yes.
It rhymes. It's kind of this duplicated sound. Razzle dazzle.
Oh, yeah.
Give 'em the old razzle dazzle.
What was that from?
From Chicago,
Oh.
which is also in the 20s. So hey,
True.
we're on point here.
Yeah.
Walkie talkies. So stuff like that. But I think it's pretty fun that reduplication is reduplicated itself. It's redundant. If you think about duplication,
You don't have to put
reduplication, it's redundant. And it is itself. Isn't that fun?
It's self-referential.
I think that's fun. There's also exact reduplication, which is like the baby
What
talk
is it?
stuff.
Say that again.
Exact reduplication. So it's just saying the same thing twice in a row, like babies do. It's like bye-bye.
Oh, mama. Da,
Yeah,
da.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
exact. And then there is shm reduplication,
I don't. What?
which is I have a hard time even believing that this is present in all areas of American English because it seems so specific, but sort of just like the way that you can discredit something by removing the first letter, by saying it right the first time, and then saying it the second time with the first replaced with shm. So, say if someone's like, "Oh, are you following the instructions on this pattern?"
Instructions, schmuctions.
Exactly. So, isn't that wildly specific?
It's called schma reduplication?
Yes, because it's that sound,
yeah,
schma.
Sure.
Yeah. So, it's this very strange... Why do we all know that that's what that means?
That's crazy. I didn't realize. And some things you don't realize are as universal as they are until you hear them and go, everyone has. I've heard lots of people do that. I've done that.
Right. Well, and that's where with that I'm kind of curious if it is all across like American English, and I'm curious if it reaches out into other worlds' version of English as well.
Crazy.
I don't know if they say it in England or in Australia.
Well, ask Carol. And Jane.
Why would you ask Carol?
Because Carol's a linguist. And
she's okay. But I just mean like you have an actual friend in Australia. Why would you?
Well, no, because I was thinking other languages other than English.
Carol's wonderful. You've all heard her episode. It's great.
Well, you better. If you haven't, go back and listen.
Go back and listen. It was out last week.
Now.
Go listen.
Come on.
She's great.
Oh.
So, bee's knees.
Yes.
Where the heck did it come from in the first place? People like it because it rhymes when people like things that rhyme, but why a bee's knee?
I don't know.
What?
Tell us.
I thought you would tell me.
I know. You're the one doing the research.
So, one of the theories is that it has to do with literal bees. Quiz. Do bees have knees?
No. Sort of.
Well, yes. Okay, sort of. So, when bees go from flower to flower, they get nectar stuck on their legs from the flower. The phrase bee's knees means something that's like sweet and great. So, it's thought that maybe because stuff that's sweet and great, the stuff to make honey, gets stuck to the bee's leg. Yeah. Not an actual knee. Technically, it's like they have something akin to a knee, but it's not literally a knee. But
it bends.
It does bend, but it kind of bends. It's not like a human knee.
No.
Not a human knee.
Okay.
But maybe because they get stuff to make honey stuck there, maybe that's where that came from. I don't think so.
No, I don't.
That seems really weird to me.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah. I mean, that seems like a good effort, but I don't buy it. It's also thought that it could be a back formation of the word business. So back formation is when you have a word that's already a thing, and then you, like, mush it up to make it weird. So, like, it just slowly evolves away from it. So, like, business, bee's knees, kinda, again.
Wait, that's not good.
That's really schmooshy to me. Yeah. Not a fan.
Schma reduplication.
Another kind of iffy one, I think, comes from Shakespeare. Oh. So, Shakespeare originally came up with the phrase be-all, end-all.
Okay. Which is kind of a fun little extra tidbit. I didn't know that came from Shakespeare before researching this. But in Macbeth, when he's about to kill Duncan, he says, that but this blow might be the be-all and end-all. We jump the risk to come. So it's guessed by some etymology folks that... Etymologists, that is how that word is. I forgot the word for a moment. I'm here for you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. We make a good team.
Yeah, I think so.
So, some of them guess that the be-all, end-all became shortened to the B's and E's.
No, I don't like that either.
And, the B's, the be-all, and the E's, the end-all, B's and E's. And then over time... the bee's knees. But also, that doesn't make any sense because the be-all, end-all that's not the same thing as bee's knees.
And it was way, way before it started being used.
Right. So that's stupid. I thought it was interesting because it taught me that be-all, end-all came from Shakespeare, but at the same time, that's stupid.
But that was out there. That was someone's theory.
Yeah, that was legitimately someone's theory.
Okay.
So...
Hey, if you thought of that theory, you're wrong.
Maybe find a different passion.
Oh, wow. All right.
So now we're coming up. I often have a favorite theory when going over these, and maybe that is a bit problematic as a researcher, but using logic and thinking through, like, which one of these makes the most sense, and I'll always say when it's just, like, my preference or, like... But I think logically this one makes the most sense, and I'll see if you agree with me by the end of it. Okay. So this comes back to a specific person. We like a biography here on the Watch Your Mouth pod.
We do.
So I want to talk to you a little bit about Miss B. Jackson.
Is it B-E-A?
B-E-E.
Oh.
Yes, Miss Fancy Feet herself, as she was also known. Miss Fancy Feet, B. Jackson, iconic flapper girl.
Okay.
So she was one of the most famous Charleston dancers of the 20s.
Can you do the Charleston?
I cannot dance.
No.
Worth a damn. The Charleston is actually a really weird dance because you don't actually move that much. Your feet are just like moving around in a tiny box. Like to train the dancers, they would actually like draw a box on the ground and have them dance within it. And there's actually a video of Miss B. Jackson dancing on one of those little boxes to demonstrate how small a space her feet actually occupy while doing this dance.
We'll put that on the Facebook
Yes, we
page.
definitely will. You can find it on YouTube, so we'll post it there. And it's a fun dance. Like, she's clearly doing a great job, and she's, a sprightly little thing.
Oh, is she? Okay, good job, B.
But yeah, she was world renowned for her amazing dancing. It's just kind of very leg heavy, the Charleston, and that was what she was most known for.
Okay.
So
her legs were heavy? That's what she was known for?
No.
Oh,
well, they probably were. They were quite strong, like dancers' legs,
They were.
So it's kind of like tap dancing with no tap shoes.
Oh, okay.
Is kind of how I saw it described in some places. So she was a New Yorker and was self-taught. She would listen to the radios, or to the radio,
sure.
or the phonograph, and taught herself how to dance, and started her career at the age of 15.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, they started early, back in the 1920s. Although I guess performers, even today, often start quite young.
They do, and the lifespan wasn't as long then.
We'll get there.
Okay.
So she was in many musicals and cabaret shows and some movies.
Oh.
And she was also in the famous Ziegfeld Follies.
Sure.
In 1922.
Yep.
This was just a fun little anecdote I found. She was in a movie called Lying Wives.
Oh.
Which I mostly just liked because I actually found a review of it, which was scathing, and I enjoyed quite a lot, and I'm going to read it because I enjoyed it. So the director, Mr. Abramson, is not content with producing and directing his own pictures, but now he has to write them. We cannot congratulate him on this particular effort, which besides being quite tedious, is very muddled.
Oh.
So I just think that's a very light and airy way to first of all, they're like, oh, he's writing now? That guy? Really? And then they're like, we can't congratulate him for that.
Who's we? You think
it's the publication. I think it's like a royal we, maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. But I love that that they're inferring it's like, it's not just my opinion. There's like a bunch of us.
We cannot congratulate him.
Yes.
The royal we lends a lot of pompousness.
Yes. Then we should talk more about the royal we.
Do people know what the royal we is?
I don't know.
Okay, so when you refer to yourself as we, because this is something that... Okay, so when you refer to yourself as we, so like, we are going to the park today, but I'm only speaking about myself, I am going to the park. It's to kind of give this elevated, fancy, because that's what actual, monarchy used to do back in the day, would be to refer to themselves as a collective, because it was them and their crown, and their, elevated power. They were above a common person. They weren't just an individual, they were a we.
But could it potentially also have meant, so a queen or someone who's really high up in royalty would never go anywhere by themselves anyway, because they always have attendants.
Yeah.
You think maybe that's part of it too? I don't know.
It's possible.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. My understanding of it was that it was because they were above the common man.
Yes.
And that they were ordained by God to be the ruler.
Oh.
But that could be, because they definitely were not allowed to go alone places.
Do you think maybe the royal we is also when they go potty?
I knew that was coming. I knew it. I could see it coming, and it was like I couldn't get off the tracks in time.
No, I would have went back, because that was a joke that I don't normally like bathroom humor, but that one...
It's the dad joke
I know.
trolley problem.
I'm a dad. I'm sorry. Not sorry.
Yeah, I guess I'm not mad about it because I'm here. But anyway.
And you use that same sense of humor often.
Good. Well, not potty humor. Anyway.
Well, no.
So,
Dad humor.
In her many travels, Miss B. Jackson entertained many foreign heads of states and important type people who, were influential in many ways. And one of these I found very interesting. She met King Zog of Albania.
Oh.
We like a good name here, and King Zog is really up there.
Again, I have to think of what were the nicknames. The Zogster?
He was also known as Zagu. So I don't know which one was the nickname of which.
I think Zagu's got to be the original, and Zog is like just a short name.
I don't know how Albanian nicknames work, though.
Well,
if
you are
honest.
Albanian and you know, let us know.
Yeah, let us know, our Albanian listeners that we don't have yet.
We want to hear it. You don't know.
So Zagu was this president of Albania for a time, and then he decided he'd rather be dictator.
Oh.
So he decided to become a dictator. He, had his opponents murdered, like you do.
Sure.
And then he ruled by force and became a king. So he became King Zog. So, president, dictator, king.
Can I just say that King Zog sounds like a villain in a Mario game?
It really does. It sounds like Kirby's nemesis or something.
Yeah. Oh, no, I have to fight King Zog!
Yes, he did get ousted in 1939 by Mussolini.
Oh,
and then Albania was taken over by Italy for a while, and Zog went into exile, and then died in France. So he jumped a lot of countries.
Sure.
But before all of that, when he was still King Zog of Albania, he met Miss B. Jackson after one of her dance shows. And he was very much a womanizer. He was known for, hitting it up with all the ladies.
Sure.
So this was his pickup line. He went up to Miss B. Jackson and proposed that she try out the Albanian climate with him. Oh. That's quite a pickup line.
Not bad.
And reportedly, the way she responded to this flirt, she punched him in the nose.
Yes.
Little Miss B. Jackson, sprightly little square dancer in a square. She didn't actually square dance.
True. Yeah.
Yep. Met the king of Albania, the self-declared dictator and king of Albania, and punched him in the face.
Doesn't that seem like a really 20s thing for a woman
really
to do?
does.
Like, they're just not putting up with any crap.
You could see it in that flickery, silent movie, black and white, and just, you can see her fist, and just all the way out and then all the way back in.
Yeah.
And him going oh.
I don't... Is that your Albanian accent and pain?
Yep.
Could you do that one more time? Okay.
It was more my silent movie sound effect.
Also, that sounds like it actually could be a good noise for King Zog to make in the video game.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I will get you, King Zog. Smack.
We should definitely make a video game about.
Oh, and if you could send us pictures.
Jackson.
Okay, this is what we want. I want artists.
Are we demanding fan art now?
Yes, fan art of B. Jackson punching King Zog in the face, except it's a video game.
Yes, except he's a giant dragon or something.
Yeah, whatever. Use your imagination. I think he's a giant snail.
Oh, he's a giant snail. I mean, Zog does sound kind of snail.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So B. Jackson did not just punch people. She made things too. She helped popularize the Charleston. She claimed to have brought rumba to America, which is an Afro-Cuban dance.
Oh.
But also possibly Roomba is a different dance.
I bought a Roomba for my wife.
Not the vacuum.
For her birthday. I did. I really did.
Yeah.
We have a Roomba now.
What'd you name it?
I want to call it Rocket.
Yeah.
Because it's slow. Like Rocket Raccoon.
They do look pretty dumb and dopey. Maybe you should name it Eeyore.
Oh.
He's just kind of bumps into things.
I miss some dirt, not that it matters. That's me doing Eeyore as a vacuum robot voice.
Beautiful.
You won't hear that many places.
Nope, that's unique to this podcast.
Yeah.
So she claimed to bring rumba to America or Roomba. It's really hard to tell because they're spelled the same.
Sure.
The dances, sometimes with an H, sometimes without. But it seems that maybe was a little bit of appropriation. So side-eye B. Jackson a little bit. Yeah. But largely she seemed like a really sprightly, entertainer. She did a lot of work and
a lot of personality.
Was very, very well known for her dances and for her attitude. Unfortunately, when she was in rehearsals for a show at the Paramount Club in Chicago in 1933, she got appendicitis. And they tried to do an operation, and unfortunately she died when she was 24 or 26.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so about my age. Kind of rough. Yeah, not great. On July 18th, which actually I think is the day this comes out, or around there. Wow. So that's kind of funny.
It's in memoriam.
In memoriam of B. Jackson, make yourself a cocktail known as the Bee's Knees. There is a cocktail called the Bee's Knees. Really? There is. It's made from gin and honey with lemon and orange juice.
Well, that's fair. It's made from honey. And as you're drinking your Bee's Knees, maybe you could do the Charleston.
There you go.
Because we'll put the link.
Yeah.
You can watch the Charleston. I wouldn't even know the first thing about how to do the Charleston.
Are you a dancer? Do you know how to dance at all?
What do you think?
I know pretty much the answer is no, but I want to know if you ever enjoyed dancing.
No, I was the guy. I didn't go to high school dances because, well, that's a whole other story. But I didn't want to go to the high school dances anyway. And so I will slow dance with my wife at a wedding or something like that. I don't fast dance. I will do dancing ironically.
Yes.
I will do the sprinkler. And
or the shopping cart, which I believe you invented.
No, I did not invent it. Absolutely did not invent the shopping cart.
I think you told us that when we were kids.
That could be. I'll do the lawnmower.
The light bulb?
Do the light bulb. I can do that. Do making the pizza. And the one I did make up is washing the dishes.
Oh.
I did make up washing the dishes as a dance.
I see.
And then there's the Q-tip. I don't like that one as much, but...
I don't know that one.
You just... YouTube
I think I can probably deduce.
Oh, you can. You can. No, I don't dance, and you don't dance either.
No, I really don't.
No, we've both been in musicals.
Yes.
And
I have done a jazzercise once and did very poorly.
On purpose?
Yeah.
It's
hard to accidentally jazzercise, I feel.
Well, one time I was being chased by a bee, and it looked like jazzercise.
There you go.
I thought I was exercising.
Jane Fonda came right up and was like, yeah, I like your style.
That's actually how it got invented.
Oh.
Yeah, not many people know that.
Amazing.
Or was it the time I walked into a spider web that was in a tree?
Maybe it was both at the same time, and Jane Fonda got a lot of ideas that day.
She was driving through Grand Rapids, Michigan, said, look at that 10-year-old boy. I don't know when Jazzercise came out, but...
The 80s, that was...
But we danced in musicals. We had to dance. I did too, and it was tough for me. I don't get it. My body doesn't work well that way.
Yeah.
I can do the Broken Robot.
Not that. Which musical were you in that required that? Was that the Tron musical?
The Tron musical.
I mean, it's better than Bye Bye Birdie, which I was in.
Well, no, it's better than Due to Lack of Interest Tomorrow has been canceled.
Oh, nobody gets that reference.
No, don't. Look it up. It's horrible. It is the
worst musical ever written.
That has nothing to do with Bee's Knees.
Nope.
I wish that the person who wrote Tomorrow has been canceled due to lack of interest would be attacked by swarms of hornets.
Oh, not even bees.
No, because I don't want
Bee Jackson will come back from the grave and punch him in the nose.
Or her. Is it a him?
I think it's probably a him.
Most likely.
It was not a very friendly to women musical.
No, that could be. It was bad to watch. It wasn't very friendly for the viewer either.
It's not friendly to the viewer.
I don't know what they were thinking. Anyway,
everybody, once the pandemic is over, go out and see Tron the Musical.
Tron the Musical, my favorite number, Light Cycle of Love.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I used to play Tron when I was a kid at the video store, at the arcade. The video store. The arcade. We'd play Tron. And it had the little different games you could play. There's the spiders. The spider room, and you shoot the spiders, and you could rotate his arm to shoot. Anyway, gosh, no one cares. Anyway, Bouncing Spiders of Death, another very moving number.
Oh, moving is it?
Yeah.
I guess the dance is very moving, yeah. All the dancing spider puppets.
They are, especially when they get shot and they blow up.
It's a surprisingly puppet-heavy musical.
As it's surprising when any musical is puppet-heavy.
Really? There's a few of them.
Avenue Q.
Avenue Q. Starship.
Don't know what that means.
Giant bugs.
Ooh, that doesn't
Some good
sound
puppets.
Good.
Yeah.
Starship Troopers. I get you.
It is a reference to that, yes.
I figured.
Yeah. I don't think that has puppets, though. Anyway, you can find us on most streaming platforms, and you should leave us a nice review against all odds.
Well, people may like this. It's a father and a daughter having fun. It's 150 degrees in this room right now.
It really is.
It's really warm. I have sweat dripping down my forehead. We're trying to drink some water. We can't run the fan because that would be too noisy for the microphone, and that has nothing to do with Bee's Knees.
We are suffering for your delight, audience.
As we do. But share this podcast if you think other people want to hear us ramble and talk about weird stuff.
Share it around. If we got anything wrong or if you have any suggestions, feel free to email us at watchyourmouthpod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Facebook or on Twitter, where we will post the things that we talk about.
Yes.
In the Facebook group, we'll post like the pictures that we talk about and the videos. We'll post a video of Miss Bee Jackson, Fancy Feet herself, dancing. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. I'm Milo.
And I'm Dave.
And I'm Tigger. Stay curious, everyone.